Good morning, councillors. Welcome back to your first committee of 2026. I'd like to begin today's meeting by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land in which we gathered and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and a special shout out to Councillor Paul Jackson for flying the flag for Australia Day. This is the last committee before it, so hope we all have a good day with that, and I will be at Councillor Jackson's party that he's putting on. And there is a rumour that he is providing free mid-strength beers. Yes. So welcome to the City Infrastructure Committee, dated the 20th of January. I declare the meeting open at 9 o'clock. I'd like to advise attendees in the room that this meeting is being webcast and audio recorded. We'll move on to attendance and leave of absence. We have 2 leave of absence today. First one will be up on the board. Do I have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Stamp. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Murphy. All those in favour? That is unanimous, thank you. Second leave of absence will come up in a second. That's it. Oh, that's quick. When we're ready, could someone please move that? Councillor Murphy, seconded. Oh, yes, Councillor Bradley.
Thank you. Through the chair, I'm just curious, have we got an idea when Councillor Fraser is returning?
At this stage, he will be back next committee. Thank you. Seconder, please. Do I have Councillor Wilcox? We have a voting, please. All those in favour? Thank you. That's unanimous. Councillor St Leger is on his way. He'll be here in about 5 or 10 minutes. We'll now move on to confirmation of previous committee meeting minutes. There'll be a motion up on the board that the minutes of the Infrastructure Committee meeting held on the 2nd of December be confirmed. When you're ready, could I please have a mover? Councillor Stemp, seconded by Mayor Raven. Does anyone wish to speak to the motion? There being none, can I please have a show of hands? That has been passed with the exception of Councillor Heremiah. How do you vote, please, mate?
Abstain.
Thank you. We now move to declarations of conflicts of interest. I now refer to the declarations of conflicts of interest. Do any councillors wish to declare a conflict of interest today? There being none, I now refer to the reports on today's agenda. We have one report today. I will take that as the litter and illegal dumping project. I'll take the report as read. We do have the manager, Andy Lee, from Manager Transport and Operations to come up because there is additional information. And if I'll hand the floor over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, the purpose of this report is to outline the outcomes of the litter and illegal dumping project, which is now complete. This project was initiated after identifying that litter and illegal dumping requests were being handled by multiple branches, leading to duplicated work and inconsistent customer pathways. I'm pleased to report that this issue has now been resolved, resulting in a much more streamlined and customer-focused process. I'll take the report as read, but I would like to highlight the key improvements. Firstly, transport operation is now both the service owner and the service provider, leading operational service delivery with support from other branches. This removes duplication and strengthens operational delivery. Transport operation crews have also moved to mobile pathway, replacing our paper processes and improving jobs allocation, tracking and response times. Secondly, customer service information is now the single point of contact for all community and council requests. This provides a clear, simple process for customer and ensure faster and more consistent responses. Together, these changes will reduce customer touch points, aims to shorten turnaround times and support a long-term reduction in complaints relating to litter and illegal dumping. I would like to also add that this is a significant body of work which takes months and with collaboration between branches like waste and recovery, parks and city safety and livability. I would like to acknowledge their input and efforts on that. So I'm happy to take any questions. Back to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. We've got three already. I'll let up to you gentlemen on who answers. The first one's Councillor Stemp. Sorry, I thought it was Mim, not Mayor Raven, so I apologise.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you. Great work, Andy, and thank you very much. I know this has been a big body of work and it's been going on for a long time. It was an issue that was raised with me during the election campaign from residents all over the city complaining about different issues and extended response times between when they make a complaint about something to when it gets cleaned up, so long that often the pile would get bigger because other people would contribute to the illegal dumping because they assumed that there was a curbside cleanup or something else to that effect. I don't expect you to have it now, but would you be able to, how long has the new system been in place for, first?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through you, Mr. Chair. We have, in principle, agreement with all the branches back in October. So we are signing a formal inter-branch agreement. So we are hoping to have it implemented right now, this year. So yes, there will be some teething issues, but we'll work with our counterparts to ensure that over time, the processes will improve the response time as well as the service delivery.
Great. So not now then, because it hasn't quite started, but say in another 3 months and then another 6 months, could we get an update on the reduction in response times and like the metrics that you're using to benchmark improvement so that we can explain that to residents? Because I know with Logan Water, they reduced their average leak or their maximum leak response time went from like 25 weeks down to 25 days. Being able to talk about that to people is really helpful because when they see the improvement, it makes sense when you can explain the data. So that'd be very helpful. Thank you.
Councillor Lane.
Thanks through you, Mr. Chair. Andy, I think you're doing a ripper job in your role. I did send through some questions to the Director on the 7th of January and I didn't get responses to them. So I had a few questions, which is, we already have staff who take the request through Pathways and process it into the jobs for the crews, don't we?
So when a customer raises a request, a pathway get generated. The previous arrangement was that our staff then move the pathway request into another platform called Reflect. We are now removing the Reflect platform. We are going straight into mobile pathway, which allow our staff on site to respond as soon as possible. So we're removing duplications. So long story short, yes, we do have staff that triaging pathway requests to our teams.
Okay. The next one is, I thought our council crew did street side dumping collections, but this says that we have one contractor and that it was dependent on their availability. How does this change that?
So for council, transport operations teams, we have crews removing litter across the cities. However, with the illegal dumpings, because it's ad hoc, from time to time we do send our crews to remove illegal dumping if they're in the area. However, that obviously depends on the size of the material that's been dumped and the size of the material. We do engage contractors to assist us in removing the illegal dumping as soon as possible if our team's unable to attend to the site.
Okay. So when, as the Mayor said... Sorry?
Just from that, one of the outcomes from the report was actually identifying that weakness that you're talking about, that we have a significant reliance on a single provider.
I did read that, yeah.
Yeah, the provider also does a significant amount of work for waste as well. So one of the outcomes from the report is that we're now doing some work with procurement to try and strengthen that arrangement so that we actually have some, I guess, multiple faceted response capability there rather than it being tied to just one provider. So that will be an outcome from the work, which has already been commenced.
Thanks very much. The next thing is when you're collating the data, we don't have an accumulative figure of what illegal dumping costs the city in terms of people just putting stuff out the front of their properties and expecting the ratepayers to foot the bill. I had a conversation with the Director of Governance in relation to the budget coming up to identify the cost of specific properties that are continual illegal dumpers throughout the city and whether or not we can pass the cost of that collection onto those, and we seem to have hit a bit of a stalemate there in what charges can be put against properties. My concern is your wait times for collection is dependent upon how fast the City Safety and Livability Branch do their investigations and then put the request through to you to say that it's past that stage. Is that the way it's going to still work? They're going to receive an illegal dumping request and then they process it through theirs and then you get a job and then you have to schedule it to pick up. So it's still going to be a significant amount of time.
Through the chair. As far as that one's concerned, what we have in place, and we have now an agreement with City Safety and Livability around what they are able to investigate and what they aren't, to keep pickups within a decent time. So anything that is under a certain threshold will go straight for a collection. Anything over, we still do rely on them. City Safety and Livability have their own KPIs to meet, and then we have our KPIs after that. So we have tried to streamline the process as much as possible to not have to wait for CSL to do an investigation in an area where there is no possibility of finding the offender.
Yeah, because I raise these questions simply because I have repeat offenders, and if you drive down Garfield Road today, you'll see a really clear example of what happens when a unit block decides that they're going to dump stuff out the front, and then everyone goes, "Cooey, we're in," and they all add to it. So the good people in Garfield Road are really copping a flogging, and in those streets where predominantly there is public housing or private tenancies that are repeat offenders, we are getting the department to actually pay the costs finally of some of those collections, but it does sit there a long time. So thank you very much for answering my questions. I did have a few, and I did put them earlier, so I could save time today, but they didn't get responded to, so thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lane. Councillor Murphy.
Thank you, through the chair. Andy, thank you for this report. I believe after the Christmas holidays, my area in particular is very targeted, and in those areas, not so much where there's houses, but it's open spaces. So Smith Road, the wetlands, people are dumping down there all the time. We do have cameras in place, and I'm hoping that the team can find these people. Although sometimes they've got no plates on or the car is stolen. I too find from when we report, and we are encouraging our residents to use SnapSend Solve, because then that way we've got a record and it comes back to our division. So if you're part of that team, we can keep an eye on that in Division 12 as well. But I'm finding that time between when the City Standards and Livability section of council go and investigate it, and then the actual pickup time, that's when we're finding that people are going through this rubbish, they're doing their own little investigations, or they're adding to it, or they just think it's a big pile on. We had one the other day. I was maybe just hours after the person dumped it in Noya Park. City Livability were out there that day, but it was a week later, which is usually a pretty fast turnaround to pick it up. However, being school holidays right next to the playground, everybody went through it. It was all over the place and it was hard to keep it contained. It's just that little bit of a response time. I don't know really what the answer is. Even though there's cameras there, people are still blazingly just doing it. They really don't care, and I really think that we need to hit those fines a lot harder and go back to them as well. But other than that, if we can just tweak that system between where they are looking at the rubbish to identify a person that has dumped it and the actual pickup time, if we could tweak that a little bit. And I know that you're doing a whole 70 suburbs, but we really need to do that, because I know my area is absolutely constant, especially in that wetlands period. They're just getting blazoned. They'll go even into the cane fields now. Like the poor cane field guy had a whole dumped kitchen the other day. So it's just blazoned. If you can help, that'll be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Murphy. Councillor Wilcox.
Thanks very much. Thank you for that. Just wondering, just following on from Mayor Raven, I'd be interested to know about data tracking. So how much have we actually picked up? Has it actually reduced since we've consolidated it all? The cost involved would be interesting to know if it actually has reduced. So if you're going to do data for us in committee reports. This is things that would be interesting and that sort of thing. Especially, I'd really like to know, especially if it's reduced in regards to curbside. So my area and Councillor Bannon's area has got curbside collection out at the moment. I know I've been driving through, there are 50-inch plus TVs out, and there's at least 10 out in Flagstone. Doesn't matter how many times, and I will address this with Michael Asnikar as well, doesn't matter how many times you say, no TVs, no glass, no mirrors, they're all still out there and that sort of thing. And, you know, I go on Letterbox Drop and give them things going, don't put it out. You know, it's big on mine. Don't put these things out. But when they're not picked up and they're left there, what do those people do with them? Because if they're over 50 inches these days, they're really hard to fit in our cars to take them to the tip in one trip. So it'd be interesting to know if they're getting dumped anywhere and stuff like that. So that's things that I'd like to see moving forward if you're going to bring these through to committee reports is, you know, have we seen a reduction? And I think in my division personally, like in the past couple of months, yes, I actually have. Forget the fact that I actually logged like 2 or 3 lots yesterday because I really hadn't logged them for the past couple of weeks. I've just been watching them, knowing that we were in Christmas shutdown, so I only logged them yesterday. So thanks.
Looks like we're going to have good stuff for the reports. Councillor Bradley.
Thank you. I understand that reports cost money, but if you are going to write a report, could you please add also about the trolleys, illegally dumped trolleys? I understand it's another area in council that deals with them, but you can go to Fitzgerald Avenue. I reported that way before Christmas. Lovely trolleys in the garden beds, destroying the landscaping that was funded by council and federal. But I would love to hear about those as well. I'd love those people to be fined because there's cameras there.
Sorry. So not so much you have to bring a report, you're just going to bring back your data to the next, whenever they're ready. Cool, so the money cost, I'm with you on that. I'm not sure if Councillor Wilcox and Councillor St. Ledger get. I get heaps where they go, you should just have free tip-in like Scenic Rim does. The start of Scenic Rim tip-in isn't free. It's just in your rates, you don't know it, and they still have illegal dumping. So I think this is the best case forward. Do you have something, Mr.? So what is now Executive General Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Certainly appreciate the feedback in regards to information that we can bring back. So part of the project has been around looking at the information that we will collect around rubbish and illegal dumping into the future. So the report at the moment really has been around the change in our process. So we haven't had a long period to actually collect information around that. But I guess the real point that we were trying to make is our efforts to try and streamline that. So that really has involved bringing in customer service. We are pushing information back to them, so they will actually have information on hand in regards to when our curbside collection are. They will be able to actually better track that we don't duplicate work. So there has been potential in the past for us to actually see requests from community or multiple community members, also potentially feeding back through councillors where you raise that for us, which is much appreciated. So one of the things that I'm really looking for some support on is actually making customer service our first point of contact for actually advising on illegal dumping so that we can actually try to streamline that. Part of the issue in the past, which we've worked through with the project, is the potential that parks have turned up to an illegal dump site. Then we've had transport operations turn up as well, just because we've had requests come from multiple locations. So if we can actually streamline that through customer service, we're hoping to get some of that duplication out of the process as well. So yeah, I appreciate your assistance with that.
Thank you, Mr. Riley. We'll move to late reports, and there is none. Oh, we have to vote on this. So do I have... Thank you, Councillor Murphy. Do I have a seconder? Mayor Raven, or anyone want to speak to the motion? There being none, raise your hands in support. If you do, thank you. That has been carried unanimous. Thank you so much. Thank you, team. Now, we have no late reports, as we just mentioned. And that concludes the agenda for today. Guys, we've done this for a long time. This is the script. I conclude the meeting for the day, then I ask if there's anything, any general business. I have Councillor Bradley and I have Councillor Herrimeyer for general business. Okay.
You okay if I go ahead? Thank you. Thank you. Through the chair, I just want to ask a couple of questions, if I may, through the chair. Mr. Riley, I sent you an email in December about Rochdale Road and claims that council had committed to 50-50 funding with the state government. Could you verify what you replied back on the 14th of December? Does has council actually made that commitment?
I can confirm that council's not made a commitment to 50/50 funding to a
Thank
project on Rochedale Road.
Thank you. And now through the chair, may I ask a question to the Mayor? Mayor Raven, you said in December that you would write to the Mayor of Brisbane City Council in relation to Rochedale Road. Have you done that?
Through you, Mr Chair, I haven't written to him. I've spoken to him personally at an event and he's waiting for my letter.
Thank you. I'd appreciate a copy of that letter too when it comes. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Heremiah.
Thank you, Mr Chair. My question's for the head of the Roads Department today. There's several projects in Division 8, but some of the most important ones are on School Road. And there's 2 intersections in School Road that are slated for urgent upgrades. The section next to the Logan Reserve State School, intersection of School Road and Logan Reserve Road, and then the intersection of School Road and Chambers Flat Road. Now, the initial plan from council was to get construction started on the intersection outside Logan Reserve State School, upgrading it with traffic lights by the end of last year, 2025. Now we're in 2026. I've been on site, I've double checked. There's no construction started yet, which is very frustrating for the community and really concerning for parents. I understand that there's some paperwork and different requirements that council has to go through. Have we received any update regarding that intersection upgrade that needs to get done?
Thank you for the question, through you, Mr Chair. We are still awaiting on a response for the black spot funding for that location. We have continued to actually contact the state government in regards to that, the appropriate department, and we haven't yet received that response. So we are pursuing that with a great amount of rigour, particularly around the fact that we're poised to actually start that project. So yes, it is high on our priority and we would like to be there as well. Yes.
And have they committed to a specific date where they will decide on our application?
The application process for grants and for variations, which is what we're talking about in that location, does not come with a time ban. So there's not a specific commitment from them in regards to time, which is why we do continue to reach out to them to make sure that they understand that it's a priority for us.
And have council officers from the Roads Department discussed with the different government bodies whether or not council's cash balances can be used as an exception to the usual grant process to get this construction started now?
The terms and conditions in our grant processes say that they must be approved prior to us commencing work, otherwise they don't commit to actually provide us the funding. So we do need to get the approval in advance, otherwise we would be in breach of the terms and conditions of the funding.
I appreciate that.
Which part places us at risk. Yep.
Thank you for the extra detail. That wasn't my question. My question was, has it been discussed? Because terms and conditions can change on mutual agreement between the parties. The community is clear that we want to see this intersection upgraded. There's been commitments from different levels of government. There's cash in council bank accounts. The thing that's in the way are those terms and conditions. If there can be an agreement from the government body and from council to change those terms and conditions, there could be construction starting a lot sooner. Has that at least been discussed with them?
We haven't pursued trying to change the standard terms and conditions provided by the state in regards to that. The terms and conditions they provide are standard across all of our black spot projects, so they're not unique and specific to that project. I would contend that it would take us longer with more legal involvement to try and move the terms and conditions of the agreement than it would take us to actually get a response in regards to the funding itself, because we would be asking for them to actually consider a unique set of financial arrangements for that specific project, which would be separate to what we have across all of the projects across the state.
If you don't ask, you don't get. So it could just be an email or a phone call, but I hope that the department does that with the other side of School Road, the Chambers Flat Chambers Flat Road and School Road intersection. Now, this current intersection is just a T intersection, and there's a plan to install a brand new roundabout there with widened lanes and improved visibility for motorists. the last update I got is that the works on the gas lines and the energy utilities need to be finished before construction can start. Now, once that work is finished, construction can apparently start immediately. Now, where are we at with the gas and energy works so we can get the construction started on that roundabout?
I will need to take that on notice. I don't know that off the cuff, sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Herremont. Councillor Jackson.
Thank you, through the chair. Darryl, just want to pass on gratitude to the teams doing open drains and table drains through Div 5 over the last few months. They've smashed out heaps of them in November and back in again. Quick response after Sundays. We actually had flooding on Sunday in Div 5. And so Jason and his crew's out there again this week cleaning out more drains. So they've cleaned out all through Crestmead Park, which were really big ones. 3rd Ave, 2nd Ave, all the feeders into Scrubby Creek. It's been awesome. They've been, the community's really been loving it and giving great responses. So please pass on our thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, will do.
Councillor Jackson loves a clean drain. There'll be no more GB for Executive General Manager Darryl Riley. Is there any GB for Executive General Manager of Logan Water, Mr. Jared Brealey, up the back there? There being none, I will declare the meeting, the infrastructure meeting dated the 20th of January closed at 9:26, with city planning coming up in 10 minutes with the wonderful Councillor Miriam Stem. Governance. Is it governance? Yes. Okay. We've been doing it for 2 years, mate. It's not on the script, Mr. Mayor. There's no script about what's coming up next. What's governance? The wonderful Councillor Jackson. I know, right?